Most people think the worst thing your family can hand you at Easter dinner is a casserole you didn't ask for. Mine handed me a contract. 18 pages. Cream card stock. Printed at a place that does wedding invitations. It was sitting right there on the sideboard, next to the ham, like it belonged to the same meal. 10 adults around a dining room table. One chandelier my mother bought for a funeral and never took down. They thought they knew exactly who I was. The divorced daughter. The agreeable one. The reliable girl who never made a scene. They forgot I read documents for a living. Welcome back to Revenge Finally story. Grab your drink, get comfortable. And remember, the people in these stories had every single chance to behave themselves. They just chose wrong. Drop a comment below and hit subscribe if you're new. You are going to want to stay all the way to the end of this one. Trust me, I was 41 years old, 11 months out of a divorce, living alone in a one-bedroom apartment above a dry cleaner on Ridge Street in Clarendon Mills, a town of 9,000 people and one traffic light that blinked yellow after 9 at night. The rent was $640 a month. The ceiling sloped in the bedroom. The radiator knocked every March like it had a grudge. It was mine, and that mattered more than I can tell you. I worked as a paralegal at a family law firm 2 blocks from the courthouse. For 14 years, I had read contracts for a living. Fine print. Margin notes. The language people carefully bury on page for when they do not want you to find it. I had miscarried twice during my marriage. My family had treated those losses like missing socks, misplaced, inconvenient, not worth tracking. That was the family I was driving back to on Easter Sunday. 2 weeks before Easter, my Aunt Lillian called on a Sunday the way she always did. "Your mother has been quiet," she said. "In a way I don't like." Aunt Lillian had been reading about the weather for 60 years. She could smell a storm building from the other end of a phone line. When my mother called on a Thursday, not her usual Sunday, which was already the first warning, she said it was just a lovely family dinner. Nothing stressful. Just a nice evening together. I wrote the word stressful on my grocery pad. I underlined it twice. Uncle Don was flying in from Ohio, she mentioned casually. He just happened to have a trip anyway. I called Aunt Lillian back that same evening. I said, "I think we need coffee Saturday." She said, "I've already made a pie." That was how we agreed in our family to prepare for war. Saturday morning, over cherry pie and strong coffee, Aunt Lillian looked me straight in the eye and said, "Whatever they ask of you, read it. Don't just listen. Read every single word." She paused and set down her fork. Things always live on page 4. I pulled into my parents' driveway at 3:47 in the afternoon. 5 cars. 4-person dinner. I counted them twice just to be sure. My mother opened the front door before I even reached the porch. She smiled too wide. She hugged me harder than she had in 3 years and said "sweetheart," a word she had not deployed since 2018. I filed it away, and then I saw it. A cream-colored folder. Thick. Sitting on the sideboard right next to the ham platter, like it belonged to the same meal. Paper clipped on the corner. Perfectly aligned. Someone had taken real care with it. My sister Margaret stood in the archway between the kitchen and the dining room wearing her asking for something blouse. Pearl-colored, worn exactly once before at her 10-year anniversary dinner. Trevor, her husband, held an iced tea he was not actually drinking. Uncle Don, the family lawyer from Ohio, flown in specially, gave me a small wave from the couch. He did not stand up. He did not speak. We sat down. My father said grace. My mother passed the ham. For 8 long minutes, we talked about the Mitchell's roof and whether it might snow one more time. Then my mother cleared her throat. "Helena, honey, your sister and Trevor have been thinking about something. A way forward for them. We wanted to talk about it together, as a family." Margaret reached across and slid the folder to me like she was serving a side dish. She had rehearsed that exact movement. I could see it in her wrist. The title page read, "Altruistic Gestational Surrogacy Agreement." Underneath, in smaller print, between Margaret and Caldwell, intended mother, and gestational carrier. The blank line was where my name was supposed to go. They had not filled it in yet. That detail alone told me everything I needed to know. "I'd like to read it now," I said quietly. "If nobody minds." My mother gave one short, false laugh. "Oh, honey, you don't need to read every single word. Uncle Don had lawyers review it already. It's all completely standard." Uncle Don did not look at me. "I'm a paralegal, Mom," I said. "You can always spot a contract written to intimidate. The margins get thinner right around the clauses that matter most." I opened page 1 and began. Page 1 was beautiful. Vaulted, soaring language. Gift. Love. Family. Altruism. The word altruistic appeared 4 times before page 2. In my professional experience, that is 3 times more than any honest document needs. Page 2. Every reimbursable expense flowed directly to Margaret. Not a single dollar came to me. Page 3. Mandatory diet, mandatory weekly weight checks, mandatory bed rest, ordered by her doctor, not mine. I would not be receiving my own medical test results. My sister would receive them on my behalf. I was, legally speaking, a room with a refrigerator inside it. And my sister held the only key. My aunt's voice landed in my head, steady and clear. Page 4. Things always live on page 4. I turned the page. Clause 11. The intended mother retains sole authority to select embryo characteristics, including genetic sex, and reserves the right, at her sole discretion, to request termination of carriage prior to 24 weeks gestation, should genetic screening results fall outside preferred parameters. I read it once. I read it again without blinking. Termination of carriage. 3 words that turned my body into a vehicle that could be pulled over and emptied out if the delivery happened to be the wrong color of wrapping paper. I looked at Margaret. Her expression had not moved. She was not surprised by this clause. She had written it, or asked for it, or signed off on it willingly. She knew exactly what was on page 4. Clause 12. If I withdrew my agreement at any point whatsoever after signing, I owed them $118,427, plus all attorney's fees. They had written it down to the cents. Someone had specifically wanted the cents left in. This was not a surrogacy agreement. This was a cage, and they had paid a lawyer good money to build the door. I reached into my purse. The pen my Aunt Lillian had given me at Christmas. Blue ink. Fine point. Unreturned. I uncapped it slowly. The click cut through the silence of that dining room like a small crack of thunder. I found clause 11 on page 4. And slowly, not fast, not with anger, I drew one clean, even circle around it. Paralegal clean. The kind of circle drawn so a judge can read it without any ambiguity whatsoever. I set the pen down across the top of the folder, diagonal, the way a sealed witness mark is placed on a piece of evidence. I closed the folder. I slid it back across the tablecloth with both hands, the way you return someone's casserole dish. Firm, polite, completely unbroken. I stood up. I picked up my purse. I won't be signing this. I won't be discussing this further. And I want everyone at this table to understand. I heard every word spoken here tonight. I will not forget any of it. I walked around the table. I leaned down and kissed my father on the forehead, because my Aunt Lillian once told me in a cold barn that dignity is the one thing you cannot reclaim once you spend it carelessly. I walked to the front door. I opened it. I closed it behind me with one hand. I did not slam it. Behind me, through the door, I heard my sister make a sound. Not a cry. Something lower. Something animal and unplanned. The first honest sound she had made the entire evening. I did not turn around. She had asked me to give her a child. I gave her my silence instead. And my silence, it turned out, was considerably louder. Tuesday morning, 7 o'clock, my phone buzzed on the nightstand. My paralegal friend Dilea sent a screenshot with one line. "Is this about you?" Margaret had posted to Facebook. No name used. Just enough. 10 years of trying. Faith. Forgiveness she was actively working toward. 31 comments already. 3 cousins liked it. Not one single word was untrue. Not one single word was honest. I texted Dilea back. "Can you come over tonight? I need help redacting an 18-page contract." She replied inside 20 seconds. "Bringing Sharpies." We worked at my kitchen table until midnight. Every name blacked out. Every address gone. Every signature line is covered. What we left visible. Every clause number, every word of coercion, the phrase termination of carriage, and that one number, $118,427, left completely untouched. Because numbers, in my experience, are the only part of a contract that absolutely cannot hide. Wednesday morning, I hit the post. By that afternoon, 3,000 shares. A reproductive rights attorney from Indianapolis shared it publicly and called it a masterclass in why independent counsel matters. In Clarendon Mills, someone recognized the dollar amount from Margaret's own Facebook post and put the pieces together in the comments. By Thursday, Margaret had deleted 7 full years of Facebook history. My mother deleted 1 year of hers. Margaret lost her position as school principal by June. The board never cited me. They never cited the contract by name. They simply chose not to renew her. I did not celebrate, not even quietly. 14 months after that Easter Sunday, I walked into a county services building and met a 3-year-old girl named Leona. She wore a pink dress with one button missing. She looked at the stuffed giraffe I had been keeping on my passenger seat all week, and she said, "It's soft." By October, she was calling me Mom. By January, in a courthouse before a judge with silver hair and reading glasses on a chain, she became Leona Barrett. Officially, completely, forever. My Aunt Lillian handed me a small white orchid in the hallway afterward. A tight green bud, not yet open. "You became a mother because of what you refused," she said softly. "That is not the same as doing it without them. Remember that." I held the orchid. I watched my father hold my daughter for the very first time, careful hands on her small back. A kind woman is not a soft woman. She is a woman who chooses, every single morning, not to become the people who hurt her. I chose 41. I have been choosing every morning since. If this story landed somewhere real inside you tonight, if you have ever been handed a folder, a guilt trip, or a version of your own life that somebody else wrote without asking, leave a comment below with the word porch. I'll know exactly what it means. Hit like, tap subscribe, and pass this along to someone who needs to hear it today. There is another story waiting for you in the description. A mother-in-law, a Thanksgiving dinner, and a set of keys she absolutely did not expect me to bring back. Come back tomorrow. I'll have the kettle on.